Hello there friends, long time no see. I've emerged from the hiatus after Spirit's victory and I'm ready to fully dive into the RMR. Let's review the results of the first group, discuss the latest news and see what lies ahead. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. And we shall as always start with roster changes. BIG faced a collapse on all fronts, didn't make it to the RMR, didn't reach Blast Finals directly and didn't even make it to the main stage of Katowice. So what did they come up with? Yeah guys, let's bring back Syrson. Basically they removed Sin and Mantu, replacing them with their old good sniper and JDC. Now the roster is entirely German, again. I mean guys, BIG they just act really strange. They switched to English just for Mantu while everyone else was German. Then they probably realized it wasn't a great idea and reverted it back to the original setup. Okay, that might be probably good because realizing your mistakes is important. What's left for us is to wait and see where it brings them. As for Mantu, he's left without a team again. Changes are also happening in Bleed Esports, not officially yet, but there are many rumors. As you recall, they failed in the qualifiers and Kassad mentioned that there will be replacements soon. So what do insiders say? Firstly, Cypher and Longs may leave the team, and the newcomer could be Vladan. He showcased himself as a stand-in for Rens, so it seems like a decent choice. There are also some rumored changes in TSM. Instead of Modo, Poison might be joining in, again, according to the rumors. But isn't TSM like dead? I don't know. Anyways, overall, of course, there will be very few changes now, because the major is like on the horizon, it's really close. And mostly those who didn't make it there will reshuffle. And surely after the major, some interesting players will likely to become available. And as a final note on roster changes, Fear decided not to continue creating his own team and joined Alexander Zinchenko's Passion. Now he will be playing under Kane's management. And guys, let's be honest, what video would it be without more talks about Cloud9? Everyone was speculating about Bit and Simple joining, hinting at the return of the old golden NAVI era lineup. But you know, in a new org, but still with significant chances of success. However, things are not so simple, yes, pun intended. Firstly, after Katowice, Simple gave a big interview to Players.gg. In that interview, he said the following: "There were no such talks. I would never join Cloud9 when there are 4 Russian players there. I think every Ukrainian should understand this. I never had any thoughts or discussions with them." So it's certain, Simple won't be in Cloud9. Then there's another option, Monacy and Bit, as Sponge suggests. My only hope for Cloud9 is that after the majors they'll buy out Monacy and Bit. It sounds exciting, but even here things aren't so straightforward and easy. According to Overdrive, we won't see Bit in Cloud9 either. Regarding Bit and his move to Cloud9, I can't imagine that. On the one hand, he won't be understood there, on the other, Navi is his home. They've built everything for him. They're likely to remove players from Europe quickly and call Simple so that Bit can play comfortably. So guys, in short, basically that's it. We won't expect Simple or Bit in Cloud9. So where will Sana Simple return? Most people seem to think it should be Navi, and it's logical for him to replace Wonderful, as he even mentioned in that interview. Here's what he said about Wonderful. A worthy replacement? If you ask me, no, but that's just my opinion. I was very surprised by his play. I understand that the problem isn't 100% him. To which Wonderful responded, "Oh, I'm weak." I read the comments, someone thinks I got offended or something else, but no, he just stated the facts. He's the best player in CS history. But thanks for the activity in the comments. And guys, you know what? It seems logical to think, well, that's it, Simple will return to Navi. But here's what he said further in the interview. Earlier, you said you wanted to play at the major in Shanghai. Do you want to do it with Navi or are you ready to consider other options? He was asked. And then answered, "For me, it doesn't matter honestly. About China, I said that because I played there with Navi 2 or 3 times, and both times we won. It was in 2018 and I think in 2019. I want to play there because Chinese fans are insane, in a good sense. They really love Navi." So guys, again, did you hear that? He said that it doesn't matter whether it's with Navi or not. Previously, as far as I remember, Simple didn't say things like that, so he seriously considers other options besides Navi. And you know what? Moreover, the team itself doesn't seem to need him. Here's what JL says. "It's always scary that the greatest player in CSGO will come and replace replace you. It's a joke, I don't have such a feeling. We continue to perform with the same roster. Simple can return to the team if something bad happens or one of us gets injured, but I don't think Simple will return to the lineup. In short, they aren't expecting Simple in NAVI, and he doesn't seem to be planning to return there either. So the greatest player in the history of CSGO is currently in a suspended state. He explicitly said no to Cloud9, and NAVI doesn't seem to be expecting him back. You know what, Liquid could be an option as in the good old days, but now with a new system, replacing Cadian with a rifle and getting Simple involves significant rearrangements, so to say. Not just in roles, but in the overall structure and system. Judging by Twist's interview, it's a completely different CS when your captain is a sniper. So it would mean Sasha needs to switch to a rifle, and that's much more interesting. Perhaps the most logical option is G2. Many have been saying for a long time that after the major, m0NESY might move to Cloud9 and Simple might take his place. G2 has the resources, the finances, and they'll likely receive a good sum for m0NESY. In my opinion, it's the most exciting option that could happen, and the most realistic. What do you think, guys? Write your thoughts in the comments below. Well, and also, unless Falcons intervene and lure Sanya away with some inhuman salary or something. Although he himself said that he won't be going to Falcons. In general, after the major, I feel like we will be overwhelmed more than once by the upcoming crazy mad reshuffles. Friends, in the end, where do you think Simple will go? Let's discuss in the comments below. And yeah, another question is how good Simple will be in CS2. He hasn't played a single official game yet, and judging by the interview, he played CS literally several times. The other day he did it with Donk and was simply destroyed. The youngster scored 46 frags and Simple got only 20. And regarding the media presence, Simple is also losing his grip. A lot of people were watching their match at the peak, but more did it on Donk's stream. The young star had about 30,000 people online and Simple had significantly less. So Sasha is already being pressed by youngsters from all sides. It's time to urgently return and make some noise, isn't it? And you know what, even Simple's main fan, Loba, now talks more about Donk than Simple. I played with Donk, he reminds me of Flusha and JW in the old days. Daniel is calm and enjoys the game. Fame and money are not important to him. His communication is perfect because he's not toxic and doesn't cry. When I dropped the AK-47 to Simple, he said something like, "Shut up and play, all you have to do is talk." And when I dropped the AK to Donk, he was like shy and a little embarrassed, and then he rated me on Twitch. What the hell is going on, I thought. And guys, that seems to be a huge difference between Simple and Donk, and also Thorin notes this. Let's hope Simple realized that he should return to the stage, not only for the sake of victories and confrontations with Zavu. And finally, a little bit about Donk. HLTV editors recounted everything and tried to compare Donk's stats at Katowice with Nico's legendary run. You know guys, MR12, MR15, you understand that the numbers will be different. And if we equalize everything, it turns out that Donk still overtook Nico by hundredths, and this is officially the strongest performance of a pro player at a single tournament in the history of CS. Like, in general, overall, in all versions. That's how powerfully Donk entered the tier 1 level, another record for the young man. Well, okay, let's stop praising him because he'll get too cocky and we don't need that. Let's better discuss what's happening there at RMR. As you know, we have 2 groups of 16 teams. The first 8 advance to the major, the remaining 8 are relegated. It's the usual, the ordinary Swiss system. 3 wins, you're in the next stage. 3 losses, you're choosing sets for your playing home. And surely it all just couldn't go without difficulties. PGL just wouldn't be PGL if they hadn't gotten into some troubles from a technical point of view at the very beginning. They used weak CPUs in their PCs, and as a result, pro players couldn't always get even 200 FPS, despite the fact that the monitors are set to 360 Hz. Seized, for example, posted a photo of his game generally dropping to 180 FPS. And Wonderful from NAVI also noted this. PCs are complete crap, by the way, FPS just drops to 200. And also Kerrigan added, have to play with 240 Hz because of FPS. JL actually said that at the end of the day, the computers began to turn off by themselves, they just couldn't stand it. Well, and Drops, the genius, as always put everything in order. The CPU isn't good enough to run consistent 360 FPS, even 240 FPS. It's 3 years old, let's be honest here. ESL and Blast have higher standards than this, so complaints are expected. Personal experience, I was using this CPU at home until CS2 released. It was clear that it wasn't enough to compete at the highest level. Side note is that the TOs are hopefully aware that they should have less cores for CS, for example 14700K or the 7800X3D. Another minus of 5950X is having too many cores and CS is not utilizing it properly. And when the hate intensified, PGL corrected themselves and replaced the CPUs. And you know what, Kerrigan and Robs deleted their tweets, so you won't see them now. Isn't that an XD? Anyways, of course, people didn't like the situation, especially the teams that had already been relegated, for example ITB's Rollin' Rights. That was the pleasure to play the old one's PowerPoint presentation instead of the first-person shooter. And yeah, by the way, Into the Breach and NIP asked on Twitter if it was possible to replay RMR because of this. Obviously, they had no response. And now, finally, let's talk about the RMR Group A results. It was a hard time after Katowice, so today we're just bringing you a digest, not a full matches review, only the main events and highlights. So, Virtus.pro and G2 got it too easy with a score of 3-0. By the way, Virtus.pro beat NAVI in their final game to access the first CS2 major. And quite confidently, 2-0, it was VP's first win over NAVI in 4 years. And yeah guys, you shouldn't worry too much about NAVI either. The next day they just smashed BB Team and will also go to the major in Copenhagen. JL couldn't even hold back his tears after this event. Well, but the match itself was fun because of the regular screams rather than the game itself.
Done with, my god, that's sickening.
That is disgusting. I don't even know how he... Maybe there's something to be said, he gets an ace.
My god.
Well, and by the way, G2 had to beat FaZe to go 3-0, and in this match, Nico was the main star. Finally, Kovac returns and heads for the major in his best shape. Without him, m0NESY alone wouldn't be able to go too far, although the young man managed to have fun again and got some super stats.
For it didn't really realize. Oh, yeah, it's so awkward. Oh, yeah, I don't think he's ever getting up this ladder now.
No way!
See, what have you done?
That is...
G2 will finally not miss the major and will show what they're capable of. Here, a happy Kovac family. Aren't they cute?
Здорово, пацаны.
Здорово! Спасибо, чушпари!
m0NESY, blink twice if you're held hostage. Naturally, FaZe Clan recovered after the defeat from G2 and went 3-1. They won over the Turkish dream team Eternal Fire. Also, the Spaniards from KOI continue to surprise with their confidence. They looked good in the qualifiers and without any problems advanced to the major, 3-1 with only one loss to NAVI in best of 1. And suddenly, the Portuguese from Seoul, after a demoralizing 113 loss from 9 Pandas and another loss being 0-2, charged up and came out 3-2. Wow, guys, what a wonderful, very strong comeback, huge respect. Eternal Fire and Amkal also made it in the last second. All these teams made it to the major. They will receive their stickers and compete for the title of the first CS2 major winners. Congratulations! And by the way, Amkal, a Russian media-driven project, kicked Falcons out of RMR. The Sheiks are going home and Zanek will miss the main tournament of the year for the first time since 2015. Magisk seems to be in full tilt. Just yesterday he was the champion, but today you don't even make it to the main stage. Unfortunately, 9 Pandas also fly home instead of Copenhagen. Seized and his gang fought it to the last, but couldn't resist Amkal in a decider. The match was super close, but his frags were probably not just enough, he just couldn't solo. BB Team also suffered a defeat and were eliminated. They met in the decisive match with the Turkish Dream Team and were simply destroyed. 13-1 on the second map. Another one who unexpectedly went down was Fnatic. They were 2-1 in the group and then just didn't show up on the server against SAW and KOI. But there is one positive thing though, all the teams who finished 2-3, BB Team, 9 Pandas and Fnatic will play in the last chance qualifier. Of the 6 teams from 2 groups, 1 more will advance to the major. So the chances remain, we'll keep an eye on this too. Well, the rest of those that were eliminated are, as I already said, Falcons, Into the Breach, 3D Max, Enterprise and NIP. Moreover, Ninjas had it 0-3, a total disgrace. For the first time in 6 years, they will not be getting to the main tournament of the year. They got so much hate on socials that Config couldn't even stand it. He said people were suggesting him to hang himself and all that, and guys, you know what? Just be good and kind people, that's not cool. And then NAP players were also hated by their own top management. NAP released a video where they said that the team will be reshuffled. I mean, you're already suffering and all three in the group, and then your leadership just adds some, because why not? LMAO! In short, the entire community now believes that NAP is the worst org after EG. They kicked Alexibi, who already got to the major, shuffled the lineup, lost Brolin, and so on. In general, as always, there are more questions than answers. And I also wanted to mention Enterprise, a team from Poland that is generally unknown, besides one tiny detail, this scandal. After their victory over Amkal, they shouted the following.
Put it down with authority,
But Karma is a, well, you know, Nefania in his magnificence defeated Enterprise and sent them home. As a result, the Poles were eliminated and Amkal made it to the major. Here's the morale: be good or get good. I hope, guys, that none of you are too upset that I didn't make deep dives into the RMR matches, because they were actually not the most fun. It was super boring mostly, like 13-1 and stuff like that, but the next group is Group B. Here we have Spirit, Cloud9, Vitality, Ants, Mouse, and many others. We will definitely keep an eye on what's happening. By the way, Monte has urgent substitutions, as DY got really sick and will not be able to take part in the first matches. He will be replaced by a guy from the academy. So the most interesting things are yet to come. Don't forget to follow the channel and come by so you don't miss anything CS2 related. And I won't say goodbye for a long time, because Group B is just underway. See you soon.